There are many occasions where we need to order something. We can design that in Scratch and then code it in Python. In this video we're going to look how we can order a table. Following on from previous video, we had a challenge where we created teams and some matches and put the scores of those matches in, creating points that we added to the table. We used the Premier League table from a couple of weeks ago with the top 6 teams, and the idea is that we can break the problem down into parts. We look at the design in Scratch. It should be straightforward, and that will help us with the Python code. There are many different solutions to problems, and in this example of putting numbers in order, we have a few choices that we could take. Now our problem, we're going to separate it into finding the top score, remembering where that is using the index of a list, swap that into the top place, and then repeating that with the remaining teams. So we go from first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and the 6th team will be in the correct place. So if we look at how we could do that with 6 numbers, here we have 4, 1, 5, 2, 6 and 3. Now we can change that with 1 is the lowest number in this example. We want that in the first place. We change that with the 4. Now the second number is 2, so we change the 4 again with 2. We swap the places. Next number is 3, which is in the 6th place. So the number 5, the red number 5, will change places with the 3. Then we have 4, which is in the correct place, so we don't need to move it. And then we have 6 and 5, which is the wrong way round, so we swap them too, and as we said, 6 is in the correct place. So now let's have a look at our challenge in Python. Find the top score. Here we've got our 2 tables, and you can see that the scores have changed, and now the tables are not in order. So we need to put them in order. So we can start off this problem by finding the top score and then putting that in the first place, and then the next best score and putting that in the second place, and go through the list. So let's start off by looking for the top score. So we need to do a loop, so we're going to repeat that a certain amount of times. Now we know we're going to repeat it the length of the list, so we've got length of scores. So we're going to look for the top score. So let's make a variable called top score. So we're going to set the top score, and we're going to make that, let's say, 0. Now if we can use an if statement, if that top score, let's look at top score, is less than the score in the list, then we want to make that top score change to that value. So what we're saying is that if 24 is larger than 0, we want to make the top score 24, and we go down the list to find the top score. So again, we go back in our data and we look for the item of the score. Now at the moment it's just the first item, so that's not very good. But remember, we're going to set the top score to that item. So let's duplicate that. So if we said we're going to say the top score at the end, if we run that, then that will actually work, but just for the first item. So here we've got just 24. So we need to go through the list and change the item number. So we can create another variable. We'll call it index. So we're going to make our index equal 1, and then we're going to change our index by 1 once we go through our loop. Now instead of item 1 of score, we need to get item index of score. So that index is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then if that score is greater than the top score, then it will change. So when we run that, the top score is still going to remain at 24. If for example we changed an item say to 25, if we run that, you'll see that it changes to 25. Now let's have a look at that in Python. We've done a design, so let's put that into Python code. So we're going to start off with the top score. So we set that to 0. We've already got for loop that we can go through all the teams, all the scores. So let's just change that to the score list. And what we're doing is we're finding the top score inside the list. So we're going through 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is I in the loop, and the value in that place in the score list, we want to make that the top score if it is the top score. So if the top score variable is lower than the value in the score list, then we're going to change that to that score list value. So in other words, if a number in the score list is higher than what we've got already, then it will change. So we just print that to check to see if it works, and we should have 25 when we run that. You may have noticed there's a slight error when we get the table. We've got teams and table, we need to change that to score, so we get the score table when we're looking through our list. So when we run that, we should find we've got the top score of 25, which we do. So that's correct. Remember the index. We need to swap places where the top score is to the place which is the highest where we're looking. So we'll start off at 1 and then go through the list. So we need to not only change the top score when we find the top score, but we need to remember where it is, the index where it is. So let's create another variable saying where is it. So this is going to remember the place, the index where the top score is. So we can set that to 0 if we like. And what we're going to say is we're going to set where it is to this index, yeah, when the top score in the list is greater than the top score variable. So we go down the list. Let's again change number 5 to 25, and when we run this, instead of saying top score, let's say where it is, and when we run that, it should say number 5. It does. So let's change that back to 14, and we run that, and it will say number 1 because that's where our top score is. Well, we're going to have to stop there and continue in part 2 coming soon. If you enjoyed the video, please like, and obviously if you leave a comment, we'll reply to it. So thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe.